This is a message from your guides reading for the Andromedan star being. Okay, so I still have this one crystal here, my lapis lazuli, and this is the second Patreon reading today where I still have this one, so I'm assuming that this is still going to be the only crystal for the group. We'll see, but I already told you what this crystal was for yesterday, so I'm just going to go ahead and get into surrounding us in some protective space. Okay, so I have a guide coming up. So this is a female guide. Okay, this feels like one of the Andromedan guides. Wasn't really placing it there for a second. Okay, so this feels like one of your Andromedan guides. This is a female guide. She's pretty tall. Like her body feels kind of long. Like her arms and her legs and her fingers, they all feel kind of long. And she's thin, but she's quite tall. And she has kind of this bluish color with her skin. I've channeled that a lot, actually, that a lot of the Andromedans have a kind of bluish tint to their skin. And she has kind of a large head, but also kind of a long face at the same time. So not like a gray head where it's like very kind of almost teardrop shape, where it's kind of almost kind of circular a little bit. There's a feeling like it kind of goes longer back here a little bit, like back this way a little bit, and then kind of comes down. And this section of the face looks a little bit more like a little bit more similar to us in a way. Or why am I getting the word acceptable? Like to a human, as far as what they would perceive. Almost like a human being would have a little bit of an easier time with something that is a little bit more similar, it feels like. But the back of the head, it's like there's just more brain capacity going on here. They have a larger brain because they use a lot more of their mind, it feels like, than we do. But then they're also thin. So it feels like we use less of our mind and a little bit more of our physical forms. Like we're more used to open the door, right? Whereas an Andromedan might be more used to thinking door, open the door, thinking open, and the door opens. So it feels like they don't have to physically do as much. So it feels almost like their muscles over time have atrophied a bit. But atrophy, it almost sounds like an unhealthy word, where this doesn't feel unhealthy, really. It just feels like, in general, they don't use it as much. Their bodies are definitely functioning optimally, according to what they need. Yeah, she's saying that they're a lot healthier actually than we are. And they have healthier habits. That's the reason that they can guide us. So she's saying that's not a judgment. It's almost like knowing your place, knowing what you have accomplished. In other words, it just helps you guide others who haven't accomplished those things. It helps you kind of pull them out of those things. If you can see them there and know that you've risen above that yourself, you can help them do the same thing. So it's empowering. Disempowering would be judging it, observing it, and just seeing it as less than. So in other words, not seeing the potential to grab them by the hand and pull them up, but instead saying, you're down there. So she's saying it's not an observation that is wrong. You can observe something that is, in a sense, negative about someone else. You can observe it as negative for you. And it is negative in that sense. Even though there's also the sense that nothing is truly wrong in a way. But at the same time, you can observe it and know that either it's coming from a belief that's in alignment with their self or not. Is it coming from, a belief in lack, a lack mentality? Is it coming from feeling abundant? What is it coming from? And that's how you can observe if it's, in a sense, negative or positive. It's what is it in alignment with? Does it truly serve them? But you're able to observe that to, one, get a sense of where you are at, two, help yourself, because others are reflecting things around you. And so, they act as mirrors. We can see where we've been. We can see where we're headed. We can see where we are currently. And all those things really are happening simultaneously anyway. But we can still take this moment and choose to connect to ourselves when we observe something negative or positive about someone else. She's saying that what you're getting clear on is your own heart. And she's saying that your heart chakra is expanding. She's saying that what you need to know right now is that mental things can get distracting. Even if you put those ideas down for future endeavors, what you really want right now is simply this foundation which gives you the ability to have any project that you want. So it's like you can connect to the future and you can want those things, but you're not ready to have them now, in this present moment. But you can recognize them, you can see the potential of what's coming. You can look ahead, but know that it can't be. It can't be there. It can't manifest. It can't come into being, is what she's saying. That's what she means. It can't be. She means it can't come into being in your life if you don't have the foundation, which is the following, like she was saying in the last reading, or like they were saying in the last reading. She's pointing to her brain. She's saying that her name has something to do with her, something to do with her mind. That's really general though. Uh, just saying it has something to do with the mind. That's really general. I feel like it's something rather specific. This might have to do with something psychic, it kind of feels like. Um, it has something to do with what she can pick up on psychically. Okay, I feel like I feel like it might take a little bit of time to get. So she's saying to pick it up in another reading. Okay. So we are to our time. But thank you so much for another reading. That's all that your guides have to say for this one. So yeah, we'll pick up that train of thought probably in the next one or maybe in a later one. I'm not sure when she's going to come up again. But anyway, thank you so much for another reading. I truly hope that this benefits you, and I will see you next week. Namaste.